want this to be flush with the pinion that you're going to be using. Hey guys, welcome back to Revolution XRC. Welcome to the next part of this Boom Racing BRX02 Land Rover Series 3 kit build. In this part of the build, we are going to go over the electronics and the skid. So, for the electronics, just provide your own your choice of servo, main servo, and your ESC motor. In this case, I'm using a Hobby Wing Quick Run Fusion. This shift servo by JX Servo is provided in the kit, so you don't have to worry about that shift servo. You'll need bags H, I. There's this bag here that contains the rod ends and pivot ball for the steering link right here, so you'll need the steering link or the drag link right here, as well as this shift linkage for the shift servo. You also need the servo horn that is in the foam tray, as well as these two mounts that go for the shift servo, and this thing right here, which is like a gearbox adapter for the motor. Alright, to start off, step 12, you'll need your main servo, your shift servo. You'll need one M2.5 by 12 cap head screw, one M3 by 12 button head screw, and I think 6 M3 by 6 button head screws. You also need the servo saver for the shift servo, and let's get started. In case you're wondering, this is the Katana 500 by Army RC. It's a 500 ounce servo, really like it, and I'll put a link to it in the description below. Next, we'll put together the servo saver for the shift servo. Now they want you to put this at negative 24 degrees, so slightly pointing that way. Let's see if I got this right. Normally I'd power up this servo before I place this stuff on. But I currently ran out of receivers, so I need to find a new radio and receiver to use with this rig. So I'll probably have to readjust later on. So what happens when you have too many trucks? You run out of receivers. Only needed 5 M3x6s, so didn't need that one. Alright, we're done with putting the servos onto the chassis. Next we'll look at putting together the drag link and the servo horn for the main servo, as well as the skids. Alright, for this next part you'll need the 2 skid pieces. You'll need the drag link with the rod ends and the pivot balls. You'll also need the servo horn. Now you'll need this M3x10 button head screw and this M3 lock nut from bag B. You'll need this M3x6 button head screw and these 2 M2x8 cap head screws from bag H. And from bag A you'll need these 4 M3x14 self-tapping screws and these 4 M3x6 countersunk screws. Let's start off by taking care of the skids so we can get that out of the way. Just gonna move these screws over to the side here. Need those. Yes. All right. Look at that. Isn't that really nice? Alright, let's put together this link. Now you want 34 millimeters between the 2 rod ends. Alright, these threads are directional, so you'll have to turn the rod ends in the same direction on each side. that allows you to adjust the rod end length while attached to the rig. And you want the distance between these two to be 34 millimeters. Alright, and that completes. Alright, we just added the drag link and the servos to the chassis, and that completes this step. Looking really good. For step 13, we'll be putting together the shift rod for the shift servo. For that, you'll need these following parts: the shift rod, the rod end for that shift rod, and this M2 by 8 cap head screw. Alright, now when putting together the rod end on this shift rod, the edge of this corner right here to the eye of the pivot ball should be 39 millimeters. And you could always just measure it with a set of calipers, or just measure it against the instruction manual if you don't have a set of calipers handy. I do have calipers, but they're upstairs, so I don't want to get them right now. I'll just use the manual for now. If I need to adjust it later, I will. And here's the part of the manual that you could check with. Yep, still too long. Still more. really close. One more twist and that should be good. Still off by one more twist. There you go. Alright, that completes step 13. Alright, for step 14, we're ready to add the motor to the chassis. You can use your choice of motor, ESC. I am using this Quick Run Fusion, which is all-in-one or two-in-one. You also need the pinion and the grub screw for that pinion. You'll need these two M3 by 8 cap head screws, and you'll need 8 of these M2.5 by 8 cap head screws. And these parts are also from that foam tray. Yeah, these parts are from bag E, which is the gearbox bag. So this motor mount here is a little interesting with the way it works. Out of the box, you are given a 9-tooth pinion, but this motor mount here, it slides up and down depending on what your pinion is. So 9-tooth would be here. 10, you'd move it up. 11 up, 12 up, 13 up, and so on, up to an 18-tooth pinion where your motor mount would sit up like that. So really interesting setup, and it slides with screws over there. So anyway, let me figure out. Probably want these wires coming out the top or the side. Take a look. I'm gonna try having it come out the side for now. So let's do that first. Now this here is a 1mm spacer for the motor. I'm guessing that's if the shaft is too long, that this will give you that clearance. So it's not necessary to use this, but if you do need it, it's there. Let's see if I'll be able to get to this with it on the rig. Yeah, it looks like I will. Alright, we can worry about this later. So this first one here is 9 tooth, so just gotta make sure that's flush, and that should give you a good gear mesh. Oh, a little too low. You want this to be flush with the pinion that you're going to be using. Alright, so with the correct height for the pinion that you're using, now we can install the pinion. And I guess we just got to figure out what the correct depth of the pinion should be. Loosely put it on for now. Just kind of made it up and see how the fit is. I think this side faces down. Alright, pinion is definitely going to go in a little more. I'm guessing it's supposed to be flush. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the motor mount and readjust. Just test this out. Looks like it might be fine. Alright, and that completes step 14, adding the motor to the chassis. Now all that's left for me to do is to clean up this wiring. For step 15, we'll be installing the receiver box as well as cleaning up the wiring. For that you'll need the receiver box, these two M3x22 button head screws, these two 3x6x9 spacers, these two M3x6 button head screws, and a bunch of these M2.5x4 button head screws that you use with these retainers for the wires along these channels right here. So we may not use all of these, but we will be using those to retain the wiring. Well, another cool thing is on this receiver box, look what Boom Racing sent me. Right there. That is pretty sweet. I also wanted to kind of let you guys know that if you are not using the motor all-in-one motor ESC like the Fusion, if you're using a separate ESC and motor, they do come with this ESC plate, ESC mounting plate. Basically you mount the ESC to this plate, and this plate gets mounted onto the shock tower like this. So these two M3x6s are supposed to be used with the mounting plate for the ESC, and since I am not going to be using this, I will not need these screws. Alright, let's go ahead and get started with mounting the receiver box. Oh, does this go on top? Yeah, it does. There you go. Then this goes on top of that. We'll worry about that later. Right now, I am gonna go ahead and take care of this wiring. So I'm gonna have to run the servo all the way to the receiver box, same as the ESC motor. And I'm gonna figure all that out. Basically, you take these and use those screws I was talking about earlier, and you screw them down like that. But we'll be right back. Alright, I temporarily used their wiring brackets along the body posts, and I'll leave it for like that for now, but I will clean it up later. I'm not too happy with the way this looks. I'll probably figure out a way to clean it up, but anyway, you run the wires through this thing right here, this gasket, I guess that's what you call it, and this goes into the receiver box lid, like so. Then you press this into place. Then you screw down your custom plate if you have one, and if not, it's just a metal plate. You know what? I was supposed to run this through that gap right there. Let me take this off. Oh. Alright, let's do that over again. Take these out, run it through this gap right here. see if I can get that all lined up cleanly. Yeah, we'll have to clean that up. I'm not too happy about that, but we'll just finish this up and I'll clean up that wiring later. A little too tired to finish it today. Alright, and that completes step 15. Still gotta clean up my wiring. This is not the final look that I want, but this is what I have set up right now. I'll probably end up using zip ties. I don't know if I like these right now, but I'll probably use zip ties around here to kind of bunch them up and make it look a lot nicer. But that's about it for this part of the series. So thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell for future updates on this boom racing BRX02 Land Rover Series 388 kit build. Thanks for watching.